Hi, this is Aaron from Sibling Rivalry, and today I'm going to share with you our easiest and simplest and most versatile chili recipe.
Bon appetit!
The recipe that we're going to be sharing with you today is incredibly versatile in that by changing a few key components, you can make it fit pretty much any dietary restraint. So it can be keto, Atkins, it can also be pescatarian, vegetarian, and gluten-free. You can even modify it with a few extra ingredients to turn it into a nice gumbo. Alright, so I'm going to get started in a few seconds. First I want to go over the ingredients with you. So we're using a Ragu brand pasta sauce, but you can use any equivalent pasta sauce or tomato-based pasta sauce. We're using one with beef in it because personally we don't have any diet restrictions. That is something that you can definitely change up if you have a restriction on your diet. So I'm going to open this up and pour it in. And we're just going to be using a slow cooker. Alright, so next up we're going to be using some blanched whole tomatoes with the juice, and I'm just going to use a spoon here just to scoop them out and add them in. This is for texture. As the chili cooks in the slow cooker, they will break down and add a nice kind of chunky texture. You can also use chunked tomatoes or sliced tomatoes. You can even use fresh tomatoes if you want. I know you can grow those in the Click and Grow. So here we go. And I'm actually making sure that I add a bit of the juice in there as well, because it'll add a bit of a nice, more tomatoey flavor, because a lot of times the Ragu is more seasoned. For protein, we've got two options here. We have these white kidney beans, and we cooked up some sausage. So we're going to add a bit of both in here. And with these beans, you want to make sure that you rinse them before you put them in. So just put them in a colander, or you can rinse them with the can until they come clean. And yeah, we're using about half a can of those. Just set that off to the side now that we're done with it. And because Val and I are carnivores, we're going to add in some sausage. Now this was cooked the night before, and we just stored it and sliced it up into medallions best we could. And there we go. We're just going to use probably about 2 sausages worth, and then we'll save the rest for another batch. Okay. Set that off to the side as well. So I'm going to get started on these herbs and peppers that we got from the Click and Grow. So you can check out our previous video that Val will link below regarding the Click and Grow and the peppers as well as the herbs, and see how the Click and Grow system works. So let's get started. I'm just going to do the peppers first because they're going to be the easiest option. Just want to cut the heads off. These ones are a little fresher than the last ones that we did, so they're more meaty. I'm going to add a nice zest to everything. And just cut them into little medallions. And one of our future videos that we'll probably do is make a hot sauce out of these peppers. So stay tuned for that, and make sure you click the bell to be notified when we update. Almost through the stem in there. You can, if you want, put the stem, like you can put the stems in there if you want to, but you don't really need to. You might just add like a bit of grit. All right, so we're just going to go through this and just remove the leaves from the stems. You essentially just slide your finger along it like so, and it just takes off the leaves. Oh, actually, it's thyme. So if you're worried about having time to make this, you can always just use your click and grow to make some more thyme. Sorry, bad joke. Alright, there we go. I'm just setting the stems off to the side. We'll clean them up in just a sec. And here we go. If I could trap time in a bottle, I would be able to sell time in a bottle. Don't know the lyrics to the song. Alright, I think that's good for the thyme. We're going to go on to the rosemary here. If you ever have trouble growing rosemary on its own, try a click and grow, because it grows like a weed in there. It's perfect for it. Both Val and I have had it like essentially overgrow the click and grows when we're doing this. So, smells really good. Now we're going to use our measuring spoons and these spices and figure out what we want to do. So we're going to want to do about a 1/4 teaspoon of anything here. We've got some chili, as I'm sure you can see. Open this up. And remember to do this over your thing, so in case you spill anything, you don't get it everywhere. It's just going to go right in your food, and you just, there we go. Set that off to the side. Do some cayenne. There's the cayenne. And the cool thing about these little bottles that we found at Walmart is they've got a clear viewer on the top, so lets you see how much you have left in there. Okay. Set that off there. We're putting in a bit of cumin with this. You want to just do just a splash. Just adds a nice little taste to everything. You don't need to put in like an exact measurement. I just kind of add a dash of it, as they say. Set that off, and some garlic. So, garlic is good. We'll make sure that we actually measure this one, because this is something you don't want to kind of go overboard with, because garlic can very easily ruin the taste of something, contrary to what some people might believe. I know our dad is a huge advocate of garlic, but his breath gets pretty nasty afterwards. Sorry, Dad, if you're watching this.
Damn, it feels good to be a gangster.
All right, so I'm gonna stir this up, kind of mix everything together, make a nice homogenized mix. This all good, and we'll put the lid on in a bit, and in a few hours you'll have a wonderful chili. You can actually crush the tomatoes a bit if you're doing this right now, those blanched tomatoes that we had before. So there you go. And if you don't have a slow cooker, you can actually do this in a pot on a range or a stovetop. You could even potentially do it as like a casserole in an oven and bake it. It would turn out pretty good. You could put some cheese on top and a nice crust. All right, so we're gonna set that off to the side, and gonna grab the lid here and make sure this guy is on. We're gonna set it on high just to get it initially started, and then we're going to come back to this in a few hours. All right, so while this is cooking, I just figured we should go over all the different protein options you can do for this and ways you can modify it to better suit your diet. So if you're vegetarian, you can leave out meat altogether. So what we did was we put sausage in. You could just remove the sausage. You could add in some extra vegetables. You could do corn and rice and make it into a gumbo. You could also put in tofu or Beyond Meat if that's something that you'd like to try. I know Whole Foods is supposed to carry Beyond Meat here in Canada. I haven't tried it personally, but I've heard that it's really good. You can also put in fish if you're pescatarian, and yeah, you could just do a mix of different beans and see how it goes. Try out all sorts of different stuff. You could also do chunked pork or chunked beef. Essentially, you just go and buy a steak, slice it up into cubes. You could fry it up in a pan and then throw it in, and it'll add a nice, more chunky texture to your gumbo or to your chili. You can also, if you're going vegetarian, just include more tomato and tomato juice, and it'll make it a little softer. That also works great if you're doing a gumbo as well. You want it to be a little more runny, whereas a chili tends to be kind of a thick stew almost.
Eventually.
And we're back from the kitchen. So if you have smell-o-vision at home, you can probably smell the nice heavy aroma coming off of this. And I'm just about to put some toppings on the chili. Now, what you can do for toppings depends on your dietary restraints and or choices. So what I'm adding is a bit of cheese, just some mixed cheddar, and I'm going to add a bit of thick sour cream, because that's just the way I like it. There we go. Exciting stuff. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Val's going to post a few different variations of the recipe down below, and let us know what you add for toppings to your chili in the comments. And please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. We're going to be doing a few bonus videos in the coming weeks outside of our regular Monday schedule, so make sure you've got that bell rung so that you get the notification when we drop something new. Thanks for watching our video, and hope you have a great day.